that's all in the game this month. We've got weekend coming up.
This
What
week.
is happening with the real world of professional wrestling, Lee?
Oh,
We're on the road to
well,
WrestleMania.
we are on the road to WrestleMania, and I have a question. Is the current WWE product entering into a new attitude era or an attitude era like Boom? Is it entering into a new attitude era or a new attitude era like Boom? Because statistically, we just talked about math a little bit, wrestling across the board, and especially WWE, is about as hot as it's ever been. Like, remember during the Attitude Era where they were selling out every arena that they went to,
Yeah, yeah.
every Raw, every SmackDown? Like, we're getting back to that again. And both The Rock and Cody Rhodes, if you've seen some of the behind the scenes chatter, getting in a little bit of trouble for potty mouths because everybody else isn't allowed to use the dirty words, but they use some dirty words on TV, which, is kind of pushing that, are we going back to a TV 14 rating or style as opposed to a PG product again? So thoughts on that? What do you think about either the Attitude Era or Attitude Era like Boom that's happening?
Um, okay, so I'll use the language of mainstream. I really like that wrestling has re-entered mainstream popularity
Yeah.
and that it's not um just a very small niche of the population that follow it. Where
Yeah.
now COVID era, it was very taboo. It was a very bad product. It just wasn't
Wasn't designed for that.
fun to watch. Now, even before
Right.
the Thunderdome era, I think wrestling
Okay.
was at its all-time low in my lifetime.
Hmm.
I mean, just was
Interesting.
bad. Just was bad. NXT had disintegrated.
Hmm.
Other rival companies were rising. They weren't quite sure what to do with the main brand and who should have the belts. And poor Roman it had a resurgence, a relapse in his cancer. I mean, it was
Right.
just bad. It was a bad era. It was a
Right.
bad era.
Right.
So 3 years later, my tattoo artist um, just designed her bathroom in Stone Cold Steve Austin merchandise and wrestling stickers at
Wow.
the most popular tattoo shop in town. She's female,
Wow.
right? A female. Her name's Ashley B. Tattoo, by the way, if you want to check
Wow.
out. She was on Ink Master season 4. One of my favorite people.
Ooh.
So she went to the house show that was in Charleston Sunday night, posted all over her, and she's a highly influential person in my
Right.
city, and she's marking out ringside to Rhea Ripley.
Wow.
So I was like, this is a cultural moment that I think even surpasses the Attitude Era because of what's
Ooh.
possible with social media and the
Right.
and the prominence. When something goes mainstream now, it goes viral. It goes
Right.
viral to everyone's phones.
Right.
That wasn't possible in the Attitude Era.
Yeah.
They're
Right.
selling more merchandise and running more specials and more ads and more promos and more mobile apps and games and
Mm.
there is a singular Hasbro, I believe is the brand, wrestling figure goes
Uh-huh.
for over $20 now at Target. Because I wanted
Some
to
more than
get,
that.
yeah, I wanted to get a wrestling figure for my office. And I was like,
Yeah.
these things are $20. The cheap ones are $20.
Right.
This is a really financially prosperous season, more so than the Attitude Era.
Yeah.
Every presser that Triple H does, record numbers, record
Record
sales,
profits.
record visibility, record
Yep.
viewers. And they're
Yep.
able to track all of that because of the digital
Right.
apps and the Peacock subscriptions and da 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 da.
Right.
This attitude is hotter than the Attitude Era.
Okay.
There are more people alive on the planet than there were 30 years ago in the Attitude Era.
So we're just blaming the new baby boom. I gotcha.
But I'm just saying, like
Right.
the possibility of, and we're in the B now, the possibility of a billion people watching WrestleMania this year
Right.
is
That's so crazy.
realistic. That's
Yeah.
that's realistic.
Oops, sorry.
Go ahead.
And no, I hit my desk, so hopefully that wasn't loud
Oh no, I
on
didn't
the
hear it.
audio, but oh good. And we talked about this very briefly a few episodes, actually a few months ago. But WWE at the end of this year is going to Netflix, which means it will have the widest availability it's had in a long time.
Right,
And maybe I'm scrolling Netflix and I see, oh, WrestleMania. Man, I watched that when I was a kid. I wonder what that's
right.
about now. And you see LA Knight, you see Cody Rhodes, you see some of these things, you're like, oh, this is really good.
It's and you'll say it's
Oh,
very entertaining.
oh,
The
right.
product is more entertaining than it was in the Attitude Era. In the
Possibly.
Attitude Era, I had to turn off the TV when my mom would walk in the room. I could not be caught watching
Right.
a scene where Sable was on screen.
Oh, yeah.
But now, 14-year-old could have on wrestling,
Right.
and the women are actually being utilized for their in-ring skill, for
Yeah.
their athleticism, for their killer promo ability on the mic.
Yeah.
They're actually celebrated for their brains
Yeah.
and for just their sheer, dynamic charisma more
Right.
than just a pillow fight or a lingerie match or whatever the
Right.
disgusting uh,
Mud wrestling, whatever it
portrayal of
was.
women was 30 years ago during
Right.
wrestling. My
Agreed.
daughters can have role models like Bailey.
Yeah.
NXT Huggable Bailey was legit my daughter's role model.
Yeah.
And um and that there's virtue behind the female talent, that they're honorable. The
Yeah.
faces. Now the heels, but
They should be despicable, but
right.
yeah.
But that's what's so interesting. Like you have a heel, probably top heel, Rhea Ripley,
Yeah.
and yet little girls look up to her, admire her, want to be her, want to get tattoos like her, want to wear their hair like her. And she's not just a piece of meat being touted around the ring for
Right.
photo ops. She's
Yeah.
dominant in the ring and
Right.
crushing her opponent. She's
Yep.
powerful. And the
Yep.
modern woman is powerful, right? And they're allowed to be powerful.
Yeah.
Um, I don't know. I think it's the new Attitude Era. It's better.
Right. New attitude era. But the difference being this time around, I mean, key difference number one is women less, I wouldn't say not at all, but certainly much, much less objectification going on there. I mean, to an
Right.
nth degree. Like,
Right.
yeah, the Attitude Era, you got 2 minutes to wrestle. It was a bra and panties match, and you better show something to
Yeah.
make the audience get
Make it
happy.
shock. It was shocking. It
It
was
was
the
shock
Howard
TV.
Stern model for me.
Yeah,
Shock
yeah.
jock,
Jerry Springer and Howard.
give them
Yeah,
something to talk
exactly.
about the next day at work,
Right,
and shock and awe. Yeah,
right.
it's disgusting. It really, I mean,
Yeah,
like, it really, I wouldn't have thought that at age 18, but now
right.
as a father of daughters,
Yep,
I don't want my son watching that old Attitude Era stuff. Like maybe the matches, maybe Stone Cold
right,
versus The Rock, like some of that stuff,
right,
sure. But like
right,
the comedy bits, super inappropriate. The Val
right.
Venus era,
Choppy,
Godfather
choppy,
era.
yo.
Yeah, yes, exactly. Um, just the lows of the Attitude Era were the lowest probably of any era. The
Hmm,
highs of the Attitude
interesting.
Era were probably higher than any era. When you
Right,
get to a bit when you're starting to question Kane and Triple H's necrophilia. You're at the lowest of the low of the low.
Right.
And
Yep.
so I think they've learned, I think Rock and Hunter and those guys have learned how do we do the best again and avoid the worst?
Yeah.
How do
Let's
we have
hope.
the highest highs without the lowest lows? Without
Yeah.
any spaghetti sauce wrestling matches or whatever,
Judy
out
Bagwell on a pole
just
matches and
outrageous out
or forklift.
nobody's being stripped out of their clothes,
Right.
humiliated. There were actual storylines that involved you know things that we would not say on this program. And I'll
Right.
just leave it at that. Just
Yep.
storylines that were humiliating for the
Yep.
talent and
Yeah.
involving real life triggering scenarios that would
Oh
mirror
yeah.
forms of abuse and manipulation. I think we're so over that as society. We ain't going
Right.
back there. We ain't going back there for entertainment. So,
Well, let's hope not. But I
right,
think you're right. I think that the attitude area, that's a good way to put it. It had the lowest lows and the highest highs. We focus on these because they were so good. We
right,
forget about these, but the reality is if the lows are brought to here, but the highs get back to here, it's going to feel astronomically better and different. And the other thing I think about the Attitude Era is the talent pool at that point was some of the best you had had. Like the top of the roster was obviously Stone Cold, and Stone Cold was the next Hulk Hogan, and he was the guy, and there was nobody else on his level until he had to step away and they had to punt. And all of a sudden, you had Triple H and Rock killing it. You had
right.
Mick Foley stepping in
Taker.
there.
Yeah,
You had
Undertaker.
Taker, you had Shawn Michaels, you had, I mean, it was like this proliferation of guys at the top. And I think
Right,
that's where we're getting to again. Like Roman, hopefully his era is done after WrestleMania. Hopefully Seth Rollins' era is done after WrestleMania. And suddenly you've got your LA Knights, plus your Roman Reigns, plus your Seth Rollins, plus your Drew McIntyre, plus your who else? Like there's so many people that we could pull up and just say, hey, this guy is the top guy. And what we didn't have in the Attitude Era that you hit on is now we can have the top women too. And it's not just a joke. Like it's not just a,
right.
sexualized whatever match. You
It
can
was
have
just
Rhea and
satire. It was
Becky
like
and
satire, and it was like Playboy magazine light. Like
right.
in the era of Maxim magazine, if you remember
Oh
Maxim.
yeah. That's
That's what
exactly what it
that
was.
and it was yeah, if you pull up Raw from 1999, any episode of Raw, you will probably not be entertained by it, and you will probably go, this kind of
What were we
sucks.
thinking?
What was I Did I really need that much commentary from Lawler? And does Lawler
Oh,
freak out anytime a girl is on screen? Is he
yeah.
not able to compose himself and be a gentleman? Period. Like
Yeah.
I watched some of it recently, and it was just like I don't remember Test being that featured, that prominent of a
Oh yeah.
superstar. I don't
At different
remember,
points.
and I was just thinking this is terrible. Like the Godwins versus the Headbangers, like terrible,
Yeah.
terrible. It wasn't that far removed from the new gen era that was so
Right.
terrible. Um, ugh, yeah,
Yeah. But if we do learn from that, now the question mark being, some people are asking, is The Rock in particular, now that he's a board member for TKO, has the ability to have his own writer, Brian Gerwitz, they're taking certain things over. Is he learning the wrong lessons? Is he missing the, oh, I remember what it was like, because if you see Rock's promos, they're very much the Attitude Era. And it's interesting. I've seen articles lately that have said, I really enjoy this era if The Rock would just go away. And that's not what we thought we would be hearing. But it's like he's outdated. He's doing the Attitude Era shtick. And
yeah.
then Cody kind of got wrapped into it a little bit with his Homelander speech this past week.
Mm,
But at least, in my opinion, what Cody has been missing. We did a video on Cody going on the hunt. Like Cody has needed that killer instinct, not sit back and I
Yeah.
hope the bloodline don't show up or I might have to
He's
come in and bust some heads. Instead, it was him going, I am going after you. And here I
well,
am.
and still it's a little too lethargic. Cody's missing emotion.
Yeah.
Cody's missing. Now, I loved when he cried. I loved it
Yeah.
because finally it's an emotion.
Right.
I think Cody, I would bet money that Cody is an Enneagram 3. And that's not a shot on any threes. Um, I think he genuinely wrestles with um his public appearances
Yep.
being less than Captain America, the
Right.
all-American golden boy,
Right.
smiles, muscles, fancy. Like I just don't know that he knows what to do deep down with emotion.
Right.
Um, and like I said, that's not a shot on anyone
No,
with that
I'm a
personality
3.
type. I think it's hard. I think it's very challenging for him to get angry on
Right.
demand on camera.
Yep.
And I think he doesn't like the way that would make him look.
You won't like me when I'm angry. Yeah,
Right.
I mean, we haven't talked about we talked about at some point doing an Enneagram and wrestling conversation, but the Enneagram 3, that's me. And emotion, aw,
I affirm you.
celebrations.
I
Look at
affirm who
that.
you are, Lee. I
If you're
recognize,
listening to audio, you don't know what's
yeah,
going on, but my screen just exploded with fireworks somehow.
fireworks.
But so emotion, like the 3 just doesn't understand it. We just don't like it doesn't make
Mm,
sense to me. Like getting things done makes sense. Managing your
yeah,
public appearance makes sense.
right.
Emotions doesn't make sense to me.
Finishing the
And
story makes sense, right? To
finishing the
Cody.
story makes sense. So my
Yeah.
emotional range is like here to here, right? And I probably spend a little too much time on the bottom end, but my bottom end isn't down here, right?
Mm,
It's here to
right.
here, but that means my top end also isn't like you kind of freaked out a little bit on the Hogan poll because I actually showed some emotion. Like that is
Yeah.
very rare for me, right? That's a
Yeah.
whoa, that broke the norm.
Yeah.
Because I don't
Yeah.
feel like
That was
it's not a
really
bad
cool.
thing. I
That
just
was a
don't
really cool
feel
moment. It was
those
so
much.
genuine. But see, right there, what we captured in that moment was the genuine essence of your joy. And
Yeah.
I don't think we've seen Cody be, we've not seen the genuine essence of his desire to win that belt. We've
Right.
not seen his genuine outrage at what The
Right.
Rock said about his
Yeah.
mother, right? Like, come on, you should have interrupted that promo and
Right.
pushed down the harmonica player, Cody, and
Right.
bashed him over the head with the guitar. Like,
Yeah.
you should have been out there
Milk truck, beer truck 3.0.
just he humiliated you. The Rock humiliated you.
Yep.
And I don't know that Cody knows how to feel humiliation.
Yeah.
I don't know that he knows how to respond to humiliation.
Wow. So, so we have these backups. We have these guys. So Cody wins. But now you do have your LA Knight who lives in the realm of emotion. He can make you feel things with every promo. Maybe he's not the superhero in the ring that Cody
Right.
is,
Right.
but he's got that killer instinct. He's got that verbal beatdown. He's got the ability to make you go ooh ah, ah, all these different feelings you've got. So you've got that balance in there. You've got CM Punk who's able to pull on those heartstrings a little bit, and then Drew
Yeah.
who just comes in and like,
Yeah.
I'm the one who killed CM Punk.
He
It's
just
great.
burns it to the ground. Drew just
Yeah.
burns it to the ground.
And so you've got
Drew's
this,
maniacal the way his
I
brain
know.
works.
I
Maniacal.
love it. I
Yeah.
love it. If
Same.
they keep going that path, I love it.
Right.
And you've got Seth Rollins, who again, he's the showy flash in the pan, but he makes you sing along and have a song, and
Annoying.
you enjoy it for this long. So it's all
He's so
sizzle, no
annoying.
steak.
He's
But
just annoying. I'm done. I fast forward. If you're a
yeah,
Rollins fan, I need you to know that I
sorry.
fast forward through the song. I just skip it. I hit like jump ahead 10 seconds. Oh, they're still singing jump ahead 10 seconds. still singing Jump Ahead. Like
Yeah.
I can't
Right.
stomach it because
Right.
it's cool because it's participatory,
Right.
but it's not cool because it's Rollins and it
Yeah.
doesn't mean anything. There's no substance to it.
All filler, no meat to get the opposite of Booker T going in right there.
Yeah.
But we also have this depth of roster on the new side too. So the guys that used to be NXT, like your Tommaso and your Tommaso and Ciampa, I almost said, and Gargano, can now start to become the featured players. Your Bronson Reeds can start to become the featured players. Your what's her
Tiffany
name?
Stratton.
Tiffy time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Tiffany Stratton. I think Braun Breaker. I think they're
Yeah.
on the rise. Their stock is rising.
Right.
Um, I don't want to see Rollins anymore. I'd rather see, Trick and Mello come up to the
Yeah.
main. I'd rather see, I mean, gosh, are we now at a point where I'd rather see Baron Corbin back on the main roster? Like, give us a believable heel,
Right.
not a weird fashion diva. I mean, what's his gimmick? What is Rollins' gimmick? What is it?
Uh, it's the evolution of Hot Topic as purchased by the Gap.
It's like his thing is I'm the workhorse, which
Right.
means I'm on TV a lot. Okay, you're
Right.
on TV a lot. What do you do on TV?
Yeah.
I
He
have the
wrestles.
title. But it's like your promos are not good. Your voice is annoying. The way you dress, you are the clown emoji that The Rock called you. Um, I mean, it's like
Yeah.
perfect. And I think The Rock might have buried Rollins. I don't know that the crowd is going to get back on board. And I think if Rollins does anything suspicious or shady or to hurt Cody in any way, he will never recover from it as a career.
Uh,
Never.
if he pulls a nice heel turn, it would be good. It would be fitting. And then he can move off from the title picture and Drew can face CM Punk at
I used
SummerSlam
to
and we can
love Seth
have
Rollins
all
when he
that.
was the greatest heist in WrestleMania history.
Oh yeah.
Like I loved that Rollins. Be
Yeah.
that again. Be the be
He
the be
could
the
be.
Joker. Be the Joker that steals, lies, cheats. Be Eddie Guerrero. Be Dominic. You want to
Right.
be a heel, right?
Right.
Uh,
Well, anyway, and Dominic, you mentioned there the Judgment Day. We got Balor, we got Priest. I mean, the depth of the roster is equal to the Attitude Era. All we're waiting for is for Cody, LA Knight, and a few others to hit that Rock, Triple H, Mick Foley, so on and so forth level, Stone Cold level, and boom, we've got it. Like Roman is the outgoing. He's not the incoming. He's
that's
the
a great
outgoing. He was
that's
the
a
king
great
of
way
the
to put
last
it.
era.
That's a great way to
So
put
we
it.
need the king of this era to show up now, and it will cement itself.
And that's really a great way to put it, Lee. And I think that's the articulation of what I'm feeling. And I would say not only is Roman that, but the Shield is that, right? That
All
era.
three.
Yeah. Well, just that era that would include probably Orton and Rollins.
Yeah.
It's time to put over
Cena.
the next guys. And Cena knows it. Cena's the
Right.
least self delusional of them all.
Ironically. Yeah.
Cena is the one who's very well aware. My
Right.
job is to put over the Grayson Waller or
Yep.
the Theory. Like Cena's
LA
doing
Knight.
it. Cena's
Yeah.
Cena's letting the young guy go over,
Right.
right? Roman is not.
Yet.
Rollins is not.
Right.
Um, I don't know if it's locker room politics. I don't know if it's just that do you think people are spending money in the arenas on a Seth Rollins t-shirt? With all of the choices out there, you think they're not buying an LA
Right.
Knight shirt, LA Knight shirt,
Oh yeah, they're buying LA Knights 10-1, it seems like.
or a Judgment Day shirt that actually is really cool to wear?
R-Truth.
Judgment Day probably has the best merch. Like as
Yeah,
far as like visually, aesthetically, I've dropped money on Judgment Day merch. That's how,
yep,
and as cheap as I am about what I wear, that's how good their gear is. You know,
right.
I just don't see. Maybe they're buying Bloodline shirts. I don't know.
They were, I mean, at the height of the Bloodline era, that was the best story wrestling had in decades. But
mm,
we hit the apex of it around WrestleMania last year. Huh, interesting, right?
yeah, I
It's
could have
spun
kept it
its wheels
going,
for a year
and
since
I
then.
could have kept it going right with some of my ideas. Bring
Oh
in
yeah, you had
Naya.
some great booking. Or if they
Bring in
just brought in like
Naya.
Jacob Fatu,
Yeah,
Naya,
yeah. Bring in Rikishi. Have
yep,
Rikishi be the guest ref in the Jimmy versus Jay match.
there's rumors he might be.
Come on, give it to us.
Yeah,
Give it to us. It'd be so
right,
good, so good. Um.
right.
Anyway, we got to wrap up for today.
We do. We do. This was a good episode, Rusty. Thanks for being with us. If you missed it and only watched the second half where we talked about WWE TV, go back and check out this WWE Champions mobile game. It is by far, I think, the best wrestling game there's ever been, bar none, above 2K24, above No Mercy. But we just enjoy being a part of this community. Thanks for watching this. Share it with your friends and family and everybody who needs to watch wrestling content by some crazy guys who have been fans since we were like 2 years old. We'll catch you on the next one. Bye.